double barrel gun or double sword, right? I just kind of like how this guy actually comes in here and has a double barrel gun, yeah, because I sit here with my katana, right? Or this katana here, it's my family sword, right? You know, my mommy. But it's kind of interesting how he's the only guy who's like, you know what? The demons have magical powers. The demons have their, you know, crazy weaponry. One guy is a living urn, or the guy's like 4 demons. Maybe I can just shoot them instead. why do I have to limit myself to the sword, right? And of course I know some of the Hashira or the weapon, of course, the nunchuck and so on. But at my point, he's just like, I'm gonna use modern warfare instead, right? And I kind of I hope that more characters will come in and maybe have, you know, Shemiko stuff, King's Sword or whatever, like straight up, like, oh, I'm gonna throw acid at them, you know what I mean? Like straight up coming in there being like, oh, I'm gonna use this thing at them. I'm gonna like use this, I don't know, this bomb or whatever. I'm gonna smite this thing and this thing burn. I don't know. Different kind of Shemiko stuff actually could be used. It was used in reality, right? So maybe, what do you guys think? Maybe it can be more of that. So let's talk Demon Slayer, right? This episode was great. I think people are gonna leave that episode, right? You know, last episode, some people complained about, not me of course, because I'm a real fan. No, but that means people are like, oh, there's no action, you know how it goes. But this episode really has some action, right? Of course the first bit is kind of jokey, but yeah, second half, Tangetsu comes in the right. His name is kind of like, you know, a Tengu, or, so, you know, Tengu is the winged monster, right, in Japanese yokai. So you kind of see this form here, for this purpose here, right? This guy is like a Tengu, right? It's kinda like a harpy Tengu thing, so a little mix of that, right? He had this screaming thing though, which is more like a siren thing. Thing is that, you know, in Greek mythology, the harpy and the harpy and the siren are kind of similar, right, to some extent. Sometimes they're the same monster actually in some mythology, and so on, in some games or whatever. I mean, in some versions of old school, and so it's kind of like a mixture there. The harpies can sing and scream and so on, right? You have, for example, have a Banshee in Marvel that's like a flying harpy that can scream and so on, right? You know. But anyways, he's kind of a Tengu with the scream voice, like kind of a siren, right? And this was they are getting owned, man. They're getting he crushing. They're crushing Tanjiro and the other guys. My guess, right? Because I'm Miami only, so this is my guess, right? In review, of course. I'm guessing they have some kind of elemental base, right? They're like a Hydra thing, you cut one head off, grows 2 heads. But they seem also to be very focused on elements. So I think they have the limitation of a certain number of elements. And they're like natural elements. So there's no way it's gonna be like, I have darkness magic. No, it's like wind, lightning, fire, water, right? One of them has like blue eyes, you know. One has green eyes, right? Green is like usually wind. In anime, he had green eyes and had a feather, right? So he's like a Tengu with the feather magic. They like blue eyes, they got water magic, right? So I think that's kind of what happened here, that they have one element each. And that maybe is their weakness. Obviously one had lightning. Shocking. Yeah, one had lightning, right? But I guess no one has earth then, because thinking about it, this kind of like, nah. So you're not going like fire, wind, water, earth, because it's more like lightning instead of earth, I guess, and wind and so on. Yeah, they have not the 4 classic elements, but after all, he's like a Tengu demon, so a Tengus usually have lightning and wind magic, so that it kind of, I guess, fits better, right? But anyway, going all the yokais here, I'm on the yokais here. But yeah, he certainly seems a very, very legit demon. What I'm thinking though, as I mentioned the reaction part, links below for reaction, I'm thinking like, man, what happens if the demon is just killed immediately, right? Because when he was in his old man form, he certainly was pathetic. The old man, he's just crying, and he's just like a goddamn loser. Yeah, it's like, oh, please don't hurt me. So I really do wonder what would happen if you, obviously not cutting the head off like a Hydra, right? Because that kind of makes him stronger. But what if you had, you know, burned the heart or something? Yeah, what if you have made sure to kind of destroy whatever his weakness is? Would he just not be able to transform them? I mean, one thing that is weird with this guy is that, does he like need the Demon Slayer to help him transform? Or is he just doing it because he's like a weirdo that he gets like, he thinks it's fun? I just mean like, why wouldn't he enter in his, it's a little bit like, why wouldn't he enter as 2 guys instead of enter as the weak, old, fragile man form? This seems like a really massive weakness, that he has to first take damage to become his real form. Does he first have to take damage before he transforms? Or can he just like, couldn't he have entered the battle and it's like, yeah, we're 2 muscular guys immediately? Does he have to enter, take damage, and then transform after they cut the head off? It seems like he has to actually take damage first, right? That feels like a massive weakness, that he needs the other guys to trigger him. That being said though, even if he needs to take damage, what if someone else did it, you know? What if the other demons would have removed his head so he could transform? I don't know. I don't know. But with him, it's sort of like his gimmick, right? Is to like fake die to get stronger. With Daki, it wasn't really like a gimmick. With her, it was more like, yeah, me and my bro, you know, we love each other, we're the same person, yeah, we're so entwined or whatever, right? For them, it was more like we have to die at the same time because, you know, we're like the ultimate siblings or whatever. For him, it's more like feels like his gimmick that haha, when I die, I actually get stronger. Yeah. For him, it seems more like a typical, you know, the jester. For example, if you ever played Town of Salem, how is it pronounced? Salem, right? Yeah. Anyways, you know, the witch burning village, right? It's a game that I used to play many years ago. Basically, every character you're playing as a town person each, right? So someone is a witch, you know, and you're supposed to kill the witch, right? And some other people are different roles, lockout or whatever. But there's one guy that's a jester, okay? He's playing with the jester, and the jester's goal is to die. I think it's a hilarious gameplay because basically, you know, everyone is trying to kill the witch, right? They're trying to like vote who's the witch, and the jester wants to pretend to be evil, but he isn't actually evil. He just wants to lose because if he dies, he actually wins the game. So you basically, he feels like the jester to me. He's like, oh no, I'm the bad guy. You know, you have to pretend to be weak and frail so they go after you. Oh, you killed me? Actually, now I get stronger. Yeah, you have to like first set the death rattle. You know, the death rattle of the character, it makes him 10 times stronger than his OG form. Yeah, that's kind of how the jester is. This is how he feels, right? So what if you ignore him? You know, there is this thing in FF5, okay? Fantasy 5, spoilers here, not a big spoiler. Where you fight the Mimic, right? And I always loved that. I still remember that. It's a great game design. So basically, the Mimic is the best class in the game, or job in the game, where you mimic the previous ability. So if someone throws Meteor, you use Mimic, you also throw Meteor. So everyone can spam Meteor. If one person starts throwing Meteor, then the other character just spam Mimic, everyone throws Meteor. You can cycle that, so you can infinite Meteor spam, right? But you meet the Meteor, or sorry, the Mimic boss. He throws Meteor at you if you attack him, right? And he's incredibly hard to beat, so you can't defeat him if you go at him. So the strategy to beat the Mimic boss FF5 is that you can't do anything. I love that. I love it. I still remember this day. It has to be 30 years ago as a kid, right? But I still remember to that day. You enter this boss fight with him, right? And he's just like, come on, attack me, I'm this weak jester guy, right? And if you ignore the Mimic and you don't attack him, you just heal yourself or whatever, he can't attack you because his ability is only to copy your abilities. So as long as you don't hurt him, he can't hurt you back. But if you hurt him, he insta-kills you, right? Because he's like 10 times stronger than you. So if you throw a fireball, he's like 10 fireballs, he's like 10 fireballs right there. So as long as you just don't hurt him, it's fine. And that's really one of this guy, yeah. If you ignore him, you were like just poking at him. Because, I mean, from an anime viewer standpoint, right? When he enters the house, it's an obvious jester play. He's a death jester. He's like, oh, don't hurt me, humans, you know. He's obviously entering to get hurt. And I wish a little bit that Tanjiro, he does pick up on it after, of course, the guy with the gun. And I love the gun. But, yeah, it's kind of like, I feel it would be nice if someone picked up, say, actually, let's ignore this. Let's just capture him. This even is weird. Yeah, like, why would he enter our house on purpose? He knows we're powerful, so I feel it would be interesting if they actually were like, you know what, we're not gonna hurt you, we're gonna tie you down because you clearly have some kind of death threat ability, right? It would be interesting. Am I the one? Last out, this is right. I found it kind of fun, right? That obviously I brought my katana, you know, for doing Demon Slayer, and the rest part I also brought my family sword, right? Talked about it a little bit. So this here is a family sword. It's not a katana. It's a European sword, which is rusty, right? This is got my mother, so heirloom. So now I got my double katana, right? I'm like, yeah, let's go! But that's what I mean. I like this guy that he's just like, back and go here. He's just like, swords are for idiots. I got guns. I got double barrel guns, man. I find it interesting that he's the only person I think so far in all anime. It's like, you know what? These demons have magical powers. Why should we, you know, rely on like and you know stay on like using the swords when I can get like a gun and you shoot them instead? All right? He's just like, screw that shit. I'm just gonna shoot them instead. Yeah, I like it. After he ran the bullets though, I mean it's kind of like, you know, what can it be, like 17th century gun tech, something like that, 8th century. So he's like, okay, I got ammo, I gotta fight sword now. But I like how he actually enters. This is like, you know what? I'm gonna use. I'm gonna shoot at him. No, but I think it's interesting, and I wish more people. We've seen Musan, right, doing all these experiments. He's sitting there with his like, you know, chemistry and so on. And I wish that maybe we could see some of the Hashiramas maybe using chemical stuff, right? Because one thing, in historic speaking, right, one thing that was very early the humans used was of course chemical warfare. And I don't mean it's like, oh, I'm gonna make a plague or something, but I mean more like, you know, Janissaries, etc. We had many different countries. Shukdu is the one where the military, or usually then some engineer, of course, military, had different, you know, chemical stuff. Oh, if I throw this thing, it breaks the wall, or this thing creates like a blinding dust or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people, right? And of course, I guess the ninja, it has some extent. But yeah, I could see someone actually being like an alchemist, chemist fighter guy in this kind of universe, right? Using more gunpowder, black powder, what's it called again, King's Water, and this kind of stuff. People actually use in reality, but I mean, obviously an anime version of that would be more legit, right? So that could be interesting if someone is like, screw the sword, screw the katana, screw the nunchuck, I'm just gonna use like freaking chemical bomb shit instead, and maybe it works on them, yeah. I'm gonna throw salt water at them, you know what I mean? But I wish someone actually had that. I mean, I wish that some character was full on like a chemist, yeah, it's like, okay. I'll find it with technology. And yeah, please subscribe, hit like button, check out the reaction for incident, and of course also Gundam today. Very, very good. And I also liked One Piece today. I mean, I'm a big One Piece fan. I got a Sorry episode. I got my double katana, baby, in my Kill la Kill suit here. Yeah, you can barely see my Kill la Kill shirt. One of my favorite shirts here with. Yeah, baby.